Hello.
We're live.
Welcome to the Homebrew Guys podcast. We've got 14 viewers on the YouTubes and thousands BC, millions in their car right now, driving to their work destinations, listening to us.
Yeah.
When I publish these on Buzzsprout, it's just overflowing with viewers.
What the heck is Buzzsprout?
It's the podcast hosting site where we use for.
Sounds made up.
It's great that you don't even know where we publish our podcast. He does one side of the thing, I do the other. We very clearly
like asking ChatGPT to name your podcast publishing platform.
Buzzsprout.
Sprout? Yeah, that sounds great.
Welcome to our podcast. This is the Homebrew Guys podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about homebrewing, aka the name of it. More specifically, we like to aggregate a bunch of stories, things from around the internet, things that are happening with homebrewing on the internet and the world, and talk about them.
The world.
Yeah. Well, we often hit some pretty worldwide subjects.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
Mr. Worldwide over here.
Just be bald all of a sudden. We're here to chat about everything that happened kind of in December and January, because we missed December, obviously, and December's crazy. January also got really busy. We had intended to do this last week, and then just got busy. So that might be a twofer month, but I don't know. We'll see.
It could be. I think now that I'm back from this big trip, that I've got some time to coast.
Yeah.
So maybe I can get back into a little bit more of a swing of content production, personally.
Well, it's part of our world is talking about our own YouTube channels, because we both do YouTube independently, as many of you who are watching know this. So let's start with that. BC, you just talked about a trip. Where have you been? What are you doing with your life?
Yes, I just got back at about 11 o'clock last night from Cidercon, which is an industry event for cider, and it's. I was telling him just before we started This is my second year, and it has definitely confirmed for me that it's not really an event that is going to benefit homebrewers.
Yeah.
It is for people who are on the thousands of gallons scale of cider making.
Right.
But there were little nuggets of information that we came back with that I think are valuable, and I've got a couple of videos that I'm going to put out on Cidercon. One is going to be just kind of all right, we just survived 3 days of Cidercon. Here's our reflections, and then I've been building a list of things that I'm thinking of that are like, oh, that's a new insight or a new perspective that I gained from Cidercon that might be transferable down on the scale. I came back with some gifts.
Ooh.
So for you, I have two things.
Oh.
I got the brand new Scott Labs cider making handbook.
Fantastic! Wow,
that thing is gorgeous.
This is a high quality book. Holy cow!
Yeah, I was
having DV10.
Yeah, DV10's in there.
Somewhere Kyle just
I was really talking up. Get keeved. Thanks, Rob. I was really talking up the Scott Labs people. I was like, because they were like, they wanted to get into their spiel with me, and I was like, guys, I share your handbook every day.
You're like, don't worry
about it.
This
so
is awesome.
They had these stacked up, and
Cool.
I grabbed one for you because they're beautiful, and you like to ferment apples. And because you like to ferment apples, I got you one of their newer cider yeast.
Sap cider?
This
TF6.
is to maximize the fruitiness of your cider.
I'll have to try it with my sizer.
Yeah, so they had, I figured for your apple cinnamon,
Cool.
that might be fun. They had 4 yeast. One was AB1, their typical cider yeast, but they had 3 other ones that each do different things in cider. They gave Jake and Mandy and I each all 4 yeasts. So we all brought them back, and we're going to figure out something to ferment with them. And so it was really cool to talk to Fermentus about cider yeast.
Yeah.
And we went to a panel on tannin in cider, which was really insightful. And you'll hear more about that on my channel, but the question was, does cider need tannin? And the answer was obviously yes.
Yeah.
And then we went to one on keeving, which is a really complicated process of separating solids and then racking at specific times to reduce the amount of yeast assimilable nitrogen, so it stops at a point where you can bottle pet nat, but also shelf stable. And if your eyes just rolled back into your head, that's kind of how we felt.
You're like, I'm totally going to do this at home.
So like the first guy gave like a 15-minute like boom, 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 boom. And Jake and I are like snapping all these pictures of the slideshow and like trying to make notes.
Sir, can you go back one slide, please?
Oh, it felt like that. Honestly, it was so rapid fire. And then there were 4 cider makers who talked about their keeving processes. And one put out his contact information with his cell phone and said, if you ever have keeving questions, shoot me a text. So I have.
So you are. BC's like, I'm talking to him every day. He's my new best friend.
It was really, really enlightening. I think the most valuable part of it, though, for us was at the first night they had a cider share that was in this like grand ballroom, and they had like hundreds of tables and thousands of bottles.
Oh my God, that's a bit overwhelming.
It was 2.5 hours long, and we were there until the end. Like
you got trashed,
they were
right?
Kicking us. It was a rough night. It were little tiny pours, but you go to every table and have 4 or 5 ciders. That stacks up.
Compare that to Mead Stampede from the hotel lobby.
See, I normally like that morning we were hungover. Yeah. Oh no, I was nowhere near that. Thank God. Mandy might tell a different story about her experience. But we went and ate Chinese food afterward. But the thing that was cool about it was every single one was different. And so you're like building a mental like star map of all the different things that cider can be. And
that's cool.
It was really, I think, good for palate building.
That's super cool.
So it was fun. It was a good time, and you'll see more about it on my channel. Thanks to Jake, a.k.a. Dog Stick Fetch, and Mandy from Faywood Mead for coming with me.
Also known as BC's little helper.
Yeah, Jake, DTM's little helper. We had a good time. It was nice to be traveling with friends. I don't think I would want to do a conference like that alone, like I did the first year. It was super boring.
Well, you were also snowed.
I was snowed.
First year was a rough
there was a blizzard. So it was a great time. I learned a lot, and I learned my place in the cider universe is like I'm like a level 10, and everybody at Cidercon was like a level 70.
Speaking of Jake, will you grab Gold Cap right there? So Jake, Toxic Fetch, DCM's little helper.
My little helper. Should I open this?
Yes. This is a sizer. Hey, amazing.
Oh, hey, relevant.
So he sent me some meads, and we're gonna drink some tonight. So
what is this?
This is a sweet clover sizer.
Oh, sick.
Right on.
I am pretty sure I had this one a few days ago.
I'm sure you did. Anyways, we're going to drink some of these. I've got a medley of things tonight, including some Texas Longhouse mead that's here. I wanted to open some up on stream and make sure and talk about him. We'll get to that too.
And we have a bottle from our friend Adam.
We got a bottle from our friend Adam in
Reno.
He was the guy who brought us out to Reno to hang out for a weekend, and it was super fun. We got to interview the Black Rabbit meadery, which was a really cool.
That was fun.
Meadery.
That was fun.
Down out there, if you're able in El Reno, like if you're around there, go check them out. But
yeah. So what have you been up to lately? I know you've got a big project that we're going to talk about later.
Yeah. Honestly, I've been slowing down with the amount of content. I've been still brewing a ton, which is wild. Same amount of brewing, less videoing of content, which has just been very freeing in a lot of ways.
Isn't that really cathartic?
Really nice. I am. I'm still submitting to a bunch of comps this year, so that's my way of getting rid of things. So I've been bottling stuff up and shipping it out. Other than that, I'm just hanging out with my kid. I'm getting my CDL. Fun fact. So if you ever need,
What?
I will. In about probably 3 or 4 weeks, I'll have my CDL. So
that's fun.
Yeah, I'm doing it for work.
Okay. Not just for pleasure.
No, I really thought about it just for fun.
I've been playing Big Rig Simulator, and I felt like I needed to bring it into the real world.
So
is this for driving buses?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I'm going through the full rigmarole of you could see me driving a yellow school bus. I could legally drive one.
Legally?
Yes.
Before
I could.
A sketchy gray area.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's been taking up all my time recently.
So you have to go to like classes for that?
Oh yeah, I've had to pass written tests. I've gone to in-class courses. I've done driving things. I'm now at the point where I have to do 9 driving sessions with a personal drivner.
Man.
And then I have to go do my test. And it's not like your driver's test where you just like get in the car and you don't hit the curb.
Yeah.
They're like, name every part of this bus inside and out and don't get anything wrong. So I've been studying a lot.
That's so intense. Do they have like a like in driver's ed, you know how the other side has a brake pedal?
No, not on these. No.
Oh, okay.
No, these are like legit. These are school buses that are in use with kids. They're just like no training ones.
Practical.
Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. Still making a lot of content. We'll talk about my ginormous video I'm working on here in a little bit that I'm very excited about. But I was going to mention I posted my first ever YouTube short.
So go smack that like button.
I have resisted it for a long time, and I found the perfect video to do it because it's outlandish and stupid, and it's one of those people click on. It's a pine cone, Russian pine cone syrup mead.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is great content for shorts. So I finally did it. I don't think I'll do a bunch of them.
Okay.
Because I had to basically re-edit what I normally would do.
Yeah.
And I kind of hate that. I hate that I have to suddenly be like, I spent, made this video 10 minutes long, and now I have to take all my words down to like this.
It is so difficult.
Yeah.
To do like a 90-second.
I would not like to do it very often.
It's tough. It's a creative exercise.
So
you have been very busy.
Very busy. With a lot of non-mead related things.
No idea you were getting your CDL. That's hilarious.
Something new.
Yeah.
Jake, this is very good. It's a little bit sweet, but that sweet clover pops through quite a bit.
Yeah. And it gives it that warm spice cinnamon note that sweet clover is known for.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, BC, we've got a little bit of a short show tonight, but that's okay.
Yeah, we're covering a lot, but I'm on a time constraint because I've been away from my family.
Yeah, we want to get you home to your kid. That's
I'm going to be trying to do bedtime routine tonight.
But hopefully, given that our schedules line up, we'll be also do this again in the end of February. So
yeah.
So let's jump into the brews.
Into
this
the
is
brews.
News from around the brewing world, and this just in, BC.
Oh, this just in.
You just did the sign. That's the breaking news. Did you know? The American Homebrew Association has filed for a 501c status. They've been kind of pooped on recently.
They have been taking some heat lately.
Yep. After NHC and some of the total event that was, they got really beat up on.
Yeah.
So now they've switched over to a 501c. Now you can speak better to this because you've worked in this world. What does this mean for them?
So nonprofit status actually means a lot of legal mess.
Really?
Because you have a lot more reporting stuff. Accounting is the same, but there's a lot more pressure to do it right. And there's just a lot of standards that you're held to. But it also, I don't know what status they're going for. I didn't read the full thing. So I don't know if they're going for a C3 or a C4. But regardless, especially if you're a C3, it makes fundraising a lot easier. A lot of funders and grantees are more willing to give to an actual like 501c3 status nonprofit.
Okay.
And so if you're looking for sponsorships for events, in-kind donations, stuff like that, it's easier to access those things.
Interesting.
Which may be why they're doing that. We have a convention here in Oklahoma Garrett and I have done a talk at before, and they a few years ago switched to a 501c3, and it was purely around fundraising.
Interesting
stuff. It opened up more avenues for revenue to come in, but it also meant that they had to really legitimize their accounting operation,
right?
So that way they're being held, they're aligning with the standards of what a 501c3 is. So you've got the description over there of what's going on here. This popped up on Reddit, and it was odd to me given what has the hullabaloo that's been going on lately.
Well, like I said, they got really trashed on for National Homebrew competition this year, and kind of just the event that it was. But then the actual HomebrewCon, did it happen this year? I think they tried to go, and then it canceled. I think it got canceled this year.
Yeah.
So they've already canceled for 2025. That they're strongly saying we'll bring it back 2026. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm hopeful that they keep going because we do need something like this, and that's the only thing that's really hitting the mark right now as far as American homebrewers are concerned. Obviously, there's the world around us, but we want to keep this going. So curious to see.
Yeah, I mean, even this article doesn't really explain it. They say that it's going to. So it says they've had declining membership numbers since 2019, and so they think that there is a need for a national homebrewing focused organization, and so they're splitting off from the Brewers Association and becoming their own 501c. And yeah, I mean, it sounds to me like grasping for straws. But
well,
you know,
you
can't get inside their head enough.
If we thought about it, we could have done for our 2020 first show 2025 a homebrew predictions for the year. We should have done that. Maybe we'll do that for this end of the month. We'll come up with some homebrew predictions for.
I'm gonna predict that NHC doesn't come back, or not HomebrewCon doesn't come back.
Yeah, I think that's dead.
I think it's dead.
I think NHC is definitely. Anyways, we'll come up with some predictions for you for that. But are you a Spider-Man man?
I'm not, but I recognize Tom Holland is Spider-Man.
Is a Spider-Man.
Is one of the men.
So
that is a spider.
Our next story is all about Tom Holland, specifically who plays Spider-Man, some Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, in the new trilogy, right?
Yeah. He's going through, from what our article here says, it was something about sobriety. They phrased it a certain way, but he is obviously not trying to drink, and so as many of us like the taste of beer, I personally like the taste of beer.
Love beer.
That the non-alcoholic is the way that go with this, and I've seen a lot of these pop up. I haven't seen this one yet. Have you seen Barrow on the market?
I've not seen it on the market. I noticed this because I logged into Amazon the other day and I was blasted with Barrow ads. Yeah, you can buy it on Amazon, and so I was like, what? So I clicked through and read the story a little bit and was like, this is a thing for Homebrew Guys.
Yeah.
Because it's just weird. I mean,
have you had much in a beer?
I think I've had Ann O'Doul's in my life, and that's it.
It's really not bad. I mean, I'll be honest. I've had a couple. I've had what's it called? Athletic Brewing, something. Uh-huh. They are a big one that does a lot of stuff, and they have some pretty good stuff.
Well,
but
I can't speak to it. It's clearly an upcoming, like it's definitely gaining market share.
Yeah.
But I drink beer because I like to feel a little buzzed.
Yeah.
You know, I know I don't drink beer to get drunk.
Right.
Because that's a lot of calories. But I like the feeling.
Right.
It's a full spectrum effect, right? I like the flavor, I like the smell, I like the feeling.
Yeah.
And so non-alcoholic beer just does not appeal to me. There's not a reason for me to want it.
I see that. Yeah, for sure. I've definitely enjoyed some.
It's like going to the beach and never sticking your feet in the water. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
That's true. Well, they have, according to this article, he's got a couple different flavors. He's collaborated with brewmaster Grant Wood to create beers that offer full flavor without compromise. The lineup includes Kingston Golden Pills, Edge Hill Hazy IPA, and Noon Wheat. Obviously, you can figure out what those are based off their names.
Yeah.
But I'd be curious to try it. I'm curious for our chat and those people who are listening. And
maybe I'll grab
Discord.
a 6-pack on Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's nice too. They are lower calorie for sure, because the ones that are the athletic brewing are like 50 or 60 calories.
Oh, okay.
Which is like
lighter than a light beer.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. It's interesting. I think that's the current world where like people who are turning 21 are going. Like they're not necessarily going to drink alcohol all the time. They're like, there's a whole resurgence of people just like, no, I want.
Yeah, I was reading an article the other day about how non-alcoholic bars are becoming a thing in some big cities. And like the going to a place to drink mocktails in the dark just does not seem like a thing I would ever choose to do. I can do that at home.
Hold the alcohol. Give me the
give me the weak stuff. That's weird to me. Okay, so Garrett is opening this bottle from our pal Adam out in Reno. He sent us a text the other day and was like, I've figured out the secret to pumpkin mead. And I don't know if we should disclose what the secret is.
I want to try it first.
Yeah, we should try it first. So he's figured out the secret, and he didn't want to tell us that he had figured out the secret until he had done it and confirmed it, and now he sent it to us so we can try it. And he texted me this morning, funny enough, to ask if we tried it yet. And I was like, well, no, I haven't. I haven't been at Garrett's house, but I'm going over there tonight. We could open it live. And he was like, let's go. It smells like pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's taste it. Let's do it.
Whoa.
It's so dense.
It is dense.
But not like overly sweet.
No, the sweetness is great.
And it's not squashy.
No, it actually tastes pumpkin-y. That's fascinating.
So here's the only...
There's a weird flavor in the middle that's getting me.
There is an umami kind of salty thing.
Yes. That's odd. Why would it do that?
I don't know. So I'm not going to disclose. I'm not going to share his full process just yet. But
until we get to okay.
Yeah. But it has to do with using dehydrated pumpkin pie filling or something like that. So he's. I don't remember if it's just pumpkin or processed pumpkin, or if he's like making a spiced pie filling and then dehydrating it. But it has to do with removing as much water from the pumpkin to concentrate the flavor, so that way that concentrated flavor carries over.
He's onto something.
I'm like, if I'm giving this a score out of 10, I'm giving like a 6 out of 10, maybe a 6.5.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
It needs improvement, but as a proof of concept, I think he's onto something. So
for a topic that's hard, I mean, pumpkin, watermelon, all of those have been highly sought after products for a long time. So that's not bad. Interesting. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks
Hopefully,
for sending it in.
If he's not watching, we'll try and clip it to him so he can see or talk to him.
Man, we got all kinds of new people in the chat tonight.
Oh, well, yeah, we need to acknowledge those people. You go for it. I'm not reading the chat.
Ooh, man, I don't know if I can read down through all this. I see Super Tie and Red Dog and Checo and Irish Fan, Ryu, Mish. Hopefully I'm not forgetting one. DIY Fermentation, Nathan, Tiger Pat, Dog Stick Fetch, Patrick Sandy, Rob, Adeb Nonsense, Scott. All right, I'm done reading them.
That's it.
Hi, everybody. If I missed you, I especially want to say hi to you.
I just won't say your name.
All right, next
Scientist, BC.
Yeah.
What do you know about science?
Not much.
Okay, well.
So I'm going to do my best here with this one.
I know you've been on the escapade of brewing a sour beer for a long time.
Yeah, you know me.
You love that.
Sours
sour.
Are really, it's my favorite.
Every day he comes, he's like, sour this, sour that. I'm like, BC, shut up, man.
I'm like Larry. I'm doing shots of lactic acid just on the regular.
I got great news for you in your escapade.
Yeah.
It has something to do with peas.
Yeah. Did you see the ticker for this one?
I had not seen that one. That's great.
Yeah. This is new science.
So the new science found is that incorporating sugars derived from peas into brewing can accelerate the production of sour beer, specifically.
Yeah.
These specific pea sugars are not fermentable by yeast, which allow lactic acid bacteria to thrive and produce and desire the sour flavors more efficiently.
Yeah, so they like centrifuged out the sugars from peas because I guess peas have this very specific kind of oligosaccharide.
Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, it's a very complex sugar. And I didn't really understand the science of it, but somehow it increases the activity of the bacteria.
Interesting.
In a way that allows you to sour a beer faster with the same efficiency. And in their taste tests, it didn't seem to alter the flavor in any way.
Fascinating.
Versus the more traditional process, kettle souring or whatever. So I looked and looked and looked, and I could not find a source
to
buy pea sugars. So I don't think that's a thing that's viable.
Not yet. They're going to start pumping it out at some point, I guess.
We'll see. It's an interesting concept, and I love that there's like a new beer knowledge after tens of thousands of years. We're still
Brewlosophy's coming out with a video real soon. Them.
Yeah. Could my triangle testers pick out a bag of peas in my beer? Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
We'll
for
see.
Sure
It's
now,
interesting.
For sure.
Okay, you asked me to take this next one, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my best here. There are now tariffs. I think on the last podcast we joked that the tariffs were maybe never going to happen.
The tariffs are coming,
and now they're here. And so there's a lot of economic articles out there about what that is going to mean. And this one in particular, it goes through a few different commodities and things that are going to be affected by the tariffs, but particularly Mexican beers like Modelo and Corona, and whiskeys, weirdly enough, like bourbon, Tennessee whiskey, Canadian whiskey, tequila. Like a lot of spirits are going to be affected by this. Even American-made spirits are going to be affected by this because of like supply chain stuff that's tied to increased cost of goods. And so it's one of those things where like we can't, individually, there's nothing we can do about the economy. We have a social contract that we live under, that we say, okay, we elected these leaders and we are going to live under these laws until the next election. And so we all just have to suck it up and deal with it and hope that it doesn't get as bad as economists are saying it's going to get, and be prepared to make our own things at home so we don't have to worry about the increased cost of goods. Get chickens, have eggs in your backyard. Yeah. Make your own beer, etc.
We had specifically talked about a honey source we use quite a bit that is, I think, located in Mexico.
Yes, they are.
That is great honey, but I'm very curious to see how their price changes here in the next little bit because, I've used them a lot. I've bought 5 or 6 pails of honey at this point.
I'm working my way through my last remaining bucket of their honey right now.
It's great stuff, but if it bumps up 100% in price, I can't do that. You know what I mean?
Right,
so
right.
It'll be really interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the thing that we can do in direct action is talk about it.
Yeah.
And we're talking about it right now. We don't want prices to go up for no reason. If prices are going to go up, there damn sure better be a good economic reason behind that. And, the more you talk about it, the more you put pressure on politicians, the more likely, generally, they are to be responsive to the desires of the public. And so all we can do is press and press and press and hope and hope and hope. But just a reminder that we are part of a larger system.
It's true.
All right.
I poured something.
Go ahead.
Let's drink this first because this is a Texas Longhouse brew. I wanted to make sure and shout him out because he's a great friend of both channels and the Discord.
Carlos.
And he has his own meadery, Texas Longhouse Meadery in Wiley, Texas. And he's recently started, of course, being able to serve because he's got his tap room open. But also, I think he's on Vino Shipper. So if you're interested in purchasing things from him, he's got some great stuff. This is his Rated Gold, which is a hopped lemon mead.
Okay.
It's from his Session series.
We've had this one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've had his homebrewed version. Mm-hmm. This is his commercialized version. And he's putting out some great stuff down there in Texas, and
working his behind off down there.
Yeah, we want to send people his way for sure.
And we have an announcement about Carlos and Mead Stampede. I guess we could tease it here. He's been teasing it a little bit on our Discords, but Texas Longhouse Mead is brewing a collaboration mead with us that will be released in conjunction with Mead Stampede this year, and there are going to be cans available, and we're going to have kegs of it at the Jamboree. Yeah. But I think I want to withhold.
Yeah, we don't talk too much about it.
What it's going to be.
You definitely should. This is a separate note. Definitely, the whole Carlos having stuff specifically like Mead Stampede is helpful. But we host a very great event that is the Jamboree. And that is your opportunity to come hang out with us and the judges. And, if you submitted meads to Mead Stampede, hopefully pick up your ribbons and all those things that are happening there. But also, one thing we've added to our world is a educational component for the year. So we'll have our Mead Stampede mead happening there, and you'll get to taste it and all that stuff. But then also the educational component for this year. Last year was 40 hopped mead. This year is
Garrett's dog is down here.
Yeah,
in case you're wondering.
He's having a good time. I got 15 different fruits and did a primary mead version of it. with each fruit, and then a secondary, so you can taste. We're gonna have them side by side, so you can taste what does blueberry mead taste like in primary versus secondary, and what is papaya, and blah blah blah. So all these fruits. That's going to be the educational component for the year.
Good times.
We'd like to add that because it's fun to drink a lot of good mead. But then also to have something where you can be like, I'm learning.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the cider share I was talking about earlier. You're working on palate building while you're here and getting to experience stuff that you might not otherwise get to experience in your own personal venture because maybe you're not going to make 15 different fruited meads.
Please don't. I don't encourage you to do it. It is a huge pain. So
yeah, Mead Stampede. It's coming up. Registrations will open April 1st. There's going to be an email come out soon with a little bit more information about that. If you want to sponsor, go to meadstampede.org and hit me up. If you go to the sponsorship page, that goes directly to me, and we'll get you sponsoring Mead Stampede. Yeah, we need the support.
All right, sorry, a little diversion there.
Love diversions.
Let's talk about laced plants.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I was like, what? Yeah. Anna sent this one to me.
Okay. So I don't know what's going on here, I'll be honest. I've read through this in my brain. There's a lot of big words.
So
into fights.
I feel like ever since The Last of Us came out, fungus.
People are obsessed with fungus.
It's been a big part of the conversation, right? And so there's recent research indicating that plants hosting a diverse array of fungal species in their roots and leaves attract more bee visits. So basically, if they've got more fungus living on them, bees are more likely to pollinate them.
Interesting.
Which I think is super fascinating. Because like the research, obviously like the direction that would go is there a way we can culture specific fungi to increase pollination for crop yields?
Yeah.
But then that's probably going to like get out of hand and we're going to be all like walking zombies with fungus coming out of our ears and bees living on our backs.
But those bees are having a great time. So that's all that matters. They're living their best life for sure. That's fascinating. I mean, articles like this, science like this, I'm like, that's cool. What do I do with this?
Yeah, like what's the practical application?
What do I actually do with this information? Because I don't totally understand. But it's also
it's neat, I guess. It's neat. At least demonstrating that like there might be a reason some plants are better pollinated than others. Yeah. It might just be down to fungal chemical signals that are being picked up by the bees or whatever, but it's one of those things like everything is interconnected. There's a communication going on that none of us even realize.
Sounds like you watched Interstellar recently.
I didn't watch it, but I've been reading a lot of like hard sci-fi lately.
Oh, okay.
And that is like a big theme of like, that there's always communication going on that we're not even privy to, and it's happening under our feet. It's happening in sound ranges we can't hear, and elephants.
BC's one step from flat Earth. He's right there.
That's next. Yeah. I'm gonna
natural progression.
Next Homebrew Guys, I'm gonna be talking about the firmament and the disk sun and all that. Just wait. It is interesting.
All right, this next one's pretty interesting because I like this show. I don't know how much you watched it.
Oh, dude, I've binged it multiple times.
So there's a King of the Hill collaboration happening with Alamo Beer Company. They're bringing the Alamo beer to life from King of the Hill.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to sell cans because there's got to be.
So it's supposedly in stores now.
Oh, okay.
And I have sent texts to family and friends in Texas to be like, if you see this, send me a 6-pack.
That's a great thing for your set.
Yeah, great in the background. I there's not really much to say beyond that. It's not like in the show they're like describing the flavors and esters that they're like it's just a shitty life here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, dang old So, but like like you said, as a collector piece, it's kind of fun. It's fun to see it, and this I guess is in conjunction with the fact that there's a revival season of King of the Hill coming out this year.
That's interesting too. That's interesting.
That takes place like 10 or 15 years later.
I kind of hate,
characters
honestly,
have aged up.
I kind of hate that their shows are trying to do this all the time.
Yeah?
That they're like, I don't know. Sometimes I think you let it lie.
Yeah.
It ended. There are so many shows, in my opinion, that have had a final season that they came back with a couple years later where you're like, eh.
Yeah, Dexter was that way for me. The original, season 1 was amazing. The other seasons, it was like gradually a decline in quality. But the like revival season that they did was so awful.
Yeah, I never watched that one, but I believe it.
It just like you're like, oh, why are you doing this to these characters? Right. Like, because like Deb, spoilers. Deb dies at the end of the original
I can't
run.
watch it now.
But then she's back in the revival series because they like you can't just get rid of one of your like main titular characters in the series, right? So she's like a ghost in his mind that comes and talks to him.
Weird.
It's like a really weird plot device. Yeah. It's just like
it's just like putting it trying to tie up loose ends or or create. I don't know. There's a lot of shows that do that.
So I don't know. I love King of the Hill. I'm hoping that they do it justice, but several of the voice actors have died since the original run.
AI, man. You just AI it.
I'm probably. But like you got to work around some difficult circumstances. So we'll see how it goes. But hey, at least we get a limited run beer.
Look forward to VC having one in the background of his Doing the Most videos.
If you happen to see, if you live in Texas or any of the other few states that are getting distribution of this, and you see it, hit me up. Let me know. Email me or Discord message me a picture. We'll work out something so you can get me a 6-pack.
VC will pay double the price.
Nope.
Just kidding.
But I'll send you a really nice thank you card. Maybe even a postcard. We'll go all out. Yeah.
This is another Texas Longhouse mead. Okay. This is the A Mango Mead.
The A Mango Mead.
I was going to say the Mango Mead, but it's A Mango
Whoa, Mead. That's big mango.
Big mango. I don't want to spoil all of Carlos's life, but I don't know how much real fruit is in here. Okay. I don't know if he's using flavors.
Oh, okay. I have no idea.
It's speculation on my end.
Ryu Krobu, who is from Italy, asks, he says, never seen it. Should I? If you really, and Ryu, I think this would be great for you because you're always fascinated by United States culture. If you want a slice of life of like Texas, Oklahoma, West Louisiana type culture, King of the Hill is really true to the culture of our region, I think. It's fun. Well, boy, ain't right. I guess you won some awards tonight.
Ooh.
Brian Stevens says, Garrett, congrats on your Sweethearts wins tonight. It's streaming right now. Well, click over here and watch us instead.
Yeah.
Now that you know that he won.
I've my homebrew club sends on updates, so they're sending some things now, which is fun.
Okay.
Cool. What do you think?
It's not my favorite compared to the other ones, but I'm not like a big fruity hydromel kind of guy.
I compared it to a mango I did with oh my gosh, aseptic puree. What's the big company?
Oregon
fruit puree that I had done, and it's very interesting going side by side. I don't know what he did, but his is pretty good.
Yeah, no, there's nothing to complain about here. It's just like not my vibe. It's good. It's well executed. I just don't like mango. I think is really the thing.
It's a hard one to do.
Let's see. Fun Pants says, I'm late to the show. Did I miss the DV10 talk? Actually, yes, you did.
We had a whole shout out to you, brother.
Well,
literally, I shouted you out. I said somewhere you're
yeah. So I gifted Garrett a copy of the Scott Labs cider making handbook, and there's a page about DV10 in there. So
it might make me change to DV10 for my my sizer, because this here says I use K1V1, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's not bad. It's bad for apples, but they're not toting it like these other ones. They're like, it's perfect. And this one's it's good. They're not screaming about it. So,
all right, just quickly before we forget, these are the fine folks who support my channel. Thank you very much for making all of Doing the Most possible, including what was not an inexpensive trip to Cidercon this week. Thank you. Your contributions allow me to make that kind of content for you and to bring those experiences back and try and distill them down to make them valuable for you guys. These are the folks who support Garrett's channel.
At some point, these people have supported me fully, and there's some people who are missing off the list. So thank you so much to the people who are missing off the list too. I can't name all your names because I don't know who you are.
We'll get back. We'll get back to that.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah. All right. So we have some social media nonsense to talk about.
Social media. All right. This month in brewing.
Yeah.
This month.
I think this one's like a. Yeah, we'll get the soundboard working. We're only 21
Maybe
episodes
we'll do
in.
some like voiceover sounds and just have those be the. This month in brewing, this is the top 5 or really top 3.
Yeah, we only had a few this time around.
Around the brewing world.
So first up, hey, thank you Super Ty for the 1999 super chat. If you want to send us money to support, you can hit that super chat. And if you put a message in there, as long as it's not too profane, Garrett will read it. All right.
I'll do it in a
Hank Hill voice?
Yeah. In a Boomhauer voice.
All right. So, did you know that distilling
I want a scale up opportunity from a Pyment.
Oh, that's cool. That's way cool.
They're going to not enjoy scaling up that Pyment.
Is it expensive?
It's a kit Pyment.
Oh, gotcha.
Where are you going to get Shiraz juice?
Yeah, harvest season is in like 9 months, right?
Let's go, guys.
So did you know it's legal to distill in the United States of America now?
BC, I have never once distilled in my entire life.
Never.
You're telling me that I can now actually do this?
Yeah.
No, I can do it for the first time.
For the first time ever. Yeah, so this was a court case that went through. Allegedly, it's tied up in appeals, but it's been nearly a year, right? Like, it's been long enough that this Redditor was able to go through the Fed and get a license for home distilling, and potentially is the first United States-based home distiller that's legally licensed to do so. So this is a thing that I would caution folks about. I wouldn't go putting my name on the list because states can still outlaw it.
Yeah.
Legislation might still make it difficult. Some states who are more inclined to regulate alcohol things might want to use the federal list of home distillers to come after you because they're making it illegal in your state, right? And so, it's technically federally legal now. There is now precedent that people have been licensed to get, but I would just play it cautious for a little while.
I'm not doing it yet. Also, I'm still nervous. I don't have that much. We kind of joked earlier because I talked about sometimes I make mead and I'm like, I don't drink it all.
Yeah.
And so he's like, you just need to like eventually be able to distill it and then you'll have something to do with it because like better than going down the drain. Right. So like I could sign up for this, but I'm also not like, I don't know, chomping at the bit to put my name out there. I'm trying to figure out what this Pro-Am thing. Sorry,
I would not be adding my name to any federal lists when it comes to activities like that. Just I don't have a lot of trust right now in giving over government. My information willingly when it comes to something like that.
Here's my social security number.
I would just be really cautious, but apparently there's precedent, and the same thing happened with THCA, where it became federally legal, and a lot of businesses decided, like, let's test that. Let's go into business. Let's start shipping it around the country because cannabis is now legal, right?
Yeah.
And that testing has proved beneficial because now it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that the government's like, well, it's going to be hard to shut this down, right?
What are we going to do about this thing?
And so my advice, I guess, would be if you're interested in distilling, now's the time to get into it. Now's the time to feed that industry with your, vote with your dollars. But just be cautious about how you're, don't be going on Instagram blasting it around and like, tagging your county government or anything, right? Like, hey, at OKCPD, guess what I'm doing on my front porch right now? Like, be careful. But it's cool. It's cool that it happened. This next one is from, I believe, Cooks Illustrated over on Instagram.
Cooks Illustrated. I totally subscribe to them.
They're like an offshoot from America's Test Kitchen.
Instagram. I've been on here in a hot minute. Getting
Yeah.
off that social media.
So this is basically the like a quick how-to guide. I like that it's like very slowly pulling up on your computer.
Well, I went to my personal hotspot. So
Gotcha. So this is like a quick guide on how to infuse butter with booze, but also infuse booze with butter.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's fat washing. We've talked about fat washing a lot, and I've done some craft to brew content around fat washing. It's a pretty common thing, but it's cool to see it like making its way into the mainstream like this. And so essentially, what you're doing is just soaking butter with booze, and then that infuses into the booze, and then like how this practically applies to us is that then you can add the booze to your brews, and so you can add that like rich, buttery, creamy smoothness basically as a tincture to your brew.
I have never made a tincture in all my time ever. 460 brews in.
If you were distilling all the stuff that you dumped down the drain, you would have plenty of alcohol to make tinctures with.
I got too much alcohol.
You would never run
I
out.
have so much alcohol. It's beyond me.
It's interesting. It's fun to see it in the mainstream. It's not an uncommon thing. Hey, shout out to Stinger. And he wants you to read this message. Thanks for the $9.99 super chat.
Okay. God, I'm having a Hank Hill? Is that what he said?
Yeah, like Hank Hill.
BV10 is gosh darn best yeast ever. Boomhauer. I can't read it. Since he said he'd do it in the voice. That was not a Hank Hill voice.
That might be the worst Hank Hill I've ever heard.
Choked. I'm not gonna lie. I had a moment where I forgot what I went Boomhauer a little bit. I went kind of in between. Listen, I'll work on it. Next one. Don't worry. It's happening.
Fun Pants says fat washing was my nickname in high school. Okay, this last one is all about you.
Yeah. All right. So I have an opportunity. Hopefully we can shore up what's left of this. I am doing the it's a trad.
Oh.
The world's largest traditional mead. I'm going to call it a tournament, not really a tournament, tasting, I don't know, something of wildflower honey specifically. So I've opened this up to the world, but more specifically highlighting the U.S. I have created a sign-up genius for all 50 states and then open up people who want to send me from other places. But I'm looking for wildflower honey from your state, and my goal is to make, at the same time, once I get all the honeys, whatever it is, 55, 60 different traditional meads using wildflower honey from each state. Make a traditional mead, do all the things, back sweeten ever so slightly, and then do a large-scale tasting that will eventually, this is where the tournament side comes in, pare down to a singular state or location as the best wildflower honey. Obviously, it's still up to some debate on that, but the hope is that I can get all 50 states plus anyone else outside of the U.S. who wants to send honey and do this large-scale video. I have already put this out, so I've already received a bunch of people signing up for it. On my Discord, there is a specific channel for this, the Worldwide Traditional Mead Challenge, Traditional Challenge, and there's specifically a sign-up genius where you can sign up to send me honey. I'm missing the following states. If I don't say your state, I'm sorry, it's already been taken. I'm missing Alabama, Alaska, Hawaii, Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Montana, New Mexico, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Wyoming. And if you were keen, you heard Oklahoma there. And I've had people ask me why I'm asking for Oklahoma honey being here. That's because there is prize money for the winning state. You will win $100 for you, the person who sends it to me, if your state wins. Obviously, there's a conflict of interest. If I get Oklahoma honey and it wins, I'm not sending money to myself. So I'd love to have someone in Oklahoma do this. So if you are in one of those states and you would like to find some wildflower honey, please do. Let me know. Find me in the Discord. I'm having trouble getting these final ones. I have reached out to 2 or 3 apiaries in every single one of these states, sent them a message and say, here's what I'm doing. I would love some help. 0 responses.
That seems right.
So my next step is to purchase it, which is not the end of the world, but it'll be way less crazy right now because it's way lower amount.
Yeah.
It's still expensive. The Alaska one, crazy. $30 for like 2 pounds, $40 for like 2 pounds, plus the shipping or whatever it is, which is fine. I can do it. I'll make it work. But if you would like to support the channel with this large test, feel free to join me and check out the Sign Up Genius. Sign up for the link or sign up for that state, and then there's information on where to send the honey. And you could win $100, and you could support the channel.
This person doesn't have a username, but they say, how do you have enough room to make 50 states worth?
Well, I did 40. BC came in here when I did 40 hopped, and he never saw them.
Yeah. So
I have a big cabinet that can fit at least 40 in, and then I have a couple other cabinets. The bigger issue.
It's important to note they're just 1 gallon carboys, right?
I'm only doing half gallons for all of these, but I will still have to go out and get creative on some carboys because I only have 42 or 3 carboys, so I need to get some more. But I think I have a way to get some more, source some more. We'll find out.
Okay.
Well,
it's a worthwhile project.
Yeah.
If you heard your state named, reach out.
And if you don't remember, check out the Discord. There's the list as well.
Right on. Yeah, and he's got a dedicated channel on his Discord to it, so go look for that. It's near the top.
I would love to start brewing these because it's going to take me a hot minute. Like I originally said the end of February, but it's probably going to have to be March now. So we're just pushing back and back. So I want to get this done in 2025. I don't want this to be a 2026 project.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my huge test. I would love your help.
Whoop, whoop.
We got another one at Jake's?
Yeah, this is another one of Jake's. I figure we might as well. It's sitting here. Let's open it up.
Blueberry cheesecake mead.
Oh, boy.
Holy cow. He made a big batch of this.
Yeah?
30 pounds of blackberries. Sorry, I said blueberry. Blackberry cheesecake.
Oh, blackberry. Okay.
Mesquite blossom honey. He followed the same thing that Larry and I did for our raspberry cheesecake. Mm-hmm. And 13 to 14%.
That's high.
Still sweet standard.
Still sweet standard.
Ooh. Smell that cream cheese powder.
Yeah,
sure. It smells like the blueberry cheesecake one.
Mm-hmm. It's taking me back to my banana cream pie.
You want to know something crazy? This is also... So, Zymergy NHC sends out like a magazine with the first place NHC ones, which is cool. So to be in the magazine.
Yeah.
They partner with a company that will take your page or whatever and put it on like a plaque and then like put a thing. And so someone sent me an email, said, hey, we do this thing.
This is good.
Reply, and we'll send you a free quote or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was like, whatever, that's free. So I'm curious. For a
poster
wood
size?
No, it's probably this big.
Okay.
Has basically like this cover on it with a little something and then the recipes page, whatever. $280.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
No, I'm sorry. That was for the lowest end one. The wood one was plus 90, so $300 something for them to essentially frame a magazine. I responded to the guy and said, that's a cool looking thing, but that's too expensive. And he just responded with, well, if you're ever interested, let me know.
So it's framed or is it like mounted?
I'll show it to you.
I mean, because my printer here in town will do that for $40.
Yeah, this is. I don't know how to explain.
Yikes! This is really well executed.
I'll find it and show it to you. But
I mean, the thing I'm always looking for is, does this taste like honey? Mm-hmm. There's like a honey top.
There's a little bit there. Yeah.
But what it really tastes like is blackberry cheesecake.
Yeah, it does.
So if that's like the end goal is, I want this to taste like the dessert. Absolutely nailed it. This is very good.
Very good.
And it does not drink like it's 13 or 40%.
It's dangerous. This is sweetness. Well,
right on.
BC, I'm hopeful that we can do a show later this month. We'll have to get some topics, but I guarantee you there's going to be great things happening in the brewing world around us. There's always something going on.
There is always something going on.
If you would like to send us things you find, in my Discord, there is a channel that is dedicated to the Homebrew Guys. when you find things, go on there, put it in there, and say, "Hey, I just found this thing. This is cool." We scour the internet to the best of our ability, but obviously it's a wide internet world. Yeah. We're gonna miss stuff. So if you want to be a part of that and help us out, feel free to let us know.
And we've included stories from the channel before that people have submitted.
Yeah,
so
it's very helpful.
We appreciate the help because this show is kind of a beast to wrangle content for. Yeah. And so it's one of those things where, like, as I see it, I like put it in a bookmarks folder and put it in a bookmarks folder. But any crowdsourcing we can do is always helpful.
Right. Well,
any final thoughts?
No final thoughts.
As you're headed into 6 more weeks of winter.
Did they switch? Did the groundhog? I thought they switched to the cake. Wasn't there something they were going to do a cake?
I watched Punxsutawney Phil.
See,
and I had heard Shadow.
I heard that they were switching to a cake that had a certain color in it. And this is not a joke. It
definitely sounds like an Onion article.
I don't know, man. Look it up. I think that there was something happening.
Like a gender reveal, but for winter.
I don't know. Someone fact check me.
I don't like it. Let's see. Scott says, "Catch my first one live, and they're wrapping up."
Oh. Good news is you can just hit the back button, and it's not live anymore. You can just watch it.
True.
Watch it not live.
Well, I want to give another shout out to Dogstick Fetch and Mandy from Faywood Mead for coming and hanging out with me at Cidercon. We had a blast. We were exhausted. It was like 20 degrees average there with like 30-mile-an-hour winds sweeping down through the skyscrapers, but we survived it. It was a good time. I don't know if I want to go back to Cidercon ever again, but
they do.
It sounds like they do. No, it's like one of those, like, you go to church camp and you come back and you're like, yeah. It's like that kind of vibe. Yeah. And then after like 2 or 3 weeks, it's like, I don't know if I want to go back to church camp.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see. But it was a good time. I would love to go to stuff like this, but there's not that much stuff like Cidercon, especially with HomebrewCon
being
existing. And so
there's space in the market. Go to MeadCon. Yeah. I think MeadCon got canceled too, though. MeadCon, Mandy would know because wasn't it in her? No, maybe she went. I don't remember.
Well, clearly we heard about it and it was amazing. So.
Yeah.
Thank you all. I need a drink. All right. Thank you all for joining us. Hopefully we'll be back here again this month.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Garrett, for hosting.
Of course.
Always. And until next time.
See you in a couple weeks.
Cheers.
Cheers.